was not meant to happen. This could not happen. This is happening.
Coach's son is back. Everyone thought, what are they going to talk about? It's off season. The Euros are done. Premier League's done. You can't get rid of us. You can't get rid of the boys from the coach's son. Today's episode, we're going to touch on a few of the transfers that we've already witnessed and seen. Maybe even talk about a couple of the rumoured transfer that's gone around. We're going to do Fabrizio a bit of justice here, and probably listening and taking some of our advice. And then we're going to go through, now that everyone's locking into the Fantasy Premier League, we're going to go through our top picks and maybe some players to look out for as well. But I'm joined, as always, Adam, Stephen, welcome to the episode.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. It's been...
That's disgusting.
Good to be back.
I haven't got my mug on me.
Sorry for that. That's strike two, mate. That's strike two. No, it's good to be back. Podcast Mondays. We do miss it a little bit. We had a nice little break, a siesta last week. We're back better than ever. James mentioned, going to go fewer true transfers and FPL, baby. We got some exciting news, FPL. It's all happening.
Yeah. Don't forget we just crowded
Premier League. 3 weeks into the Premier League. Under 3 weeks now. Yeah. Big buzzing.
Yeah, buzzing.
I'm nervous, but it's exciting.
Yeah, you should be.
Well, I found my unbelievable Techers shirt that I hadn't worn for about 10 years, I reckon.
At least.
So I thought...
Still fit you.
Well, you can only see from here up. It ends just a bit full. What do you think I had my jacket on before? And did you see the kilometers I put in last Thursday?
You did. I was actually proud of you. You did. You put in good shift. Good shift.
No wonder your shirt won't fit you, mate. You lost all your weight on Thursday.
I reckon I have. I need to weigh myself for a while. I reckon I got to weigh myself.
What are we thinking about 210 now?
Usually weigh yourself by pre-season. When was the end of the season? I weigh yourself at the end. Feel the hard work you put in.
Exactly right. Getting myself ready for a run home to the finals.
Should have set yourself a goal.
Listen, I've scored a goal this year.
Yeah, since you haven't scored anything, I was about to say.
I've scored a goal this year. I'm waiting for you to score one too.
I had goal and a half.
You haven't. Enough.
Goal and a half.
Well, let's have a look. We're going to obviously have a chat about some of the transfers that we've seen come through already. Like I said, there's 3 weeks to the Premier League starts. However, obviously the transfer window does go. Is it a week or 2 weeks beyond the start of the season?
Yeah, usually. September. I think it ends.
And then is it the Saudi League that's an extra week on top of that? From what I remember.
Yeah, all the leagues have different. Different shut-off dates, but it's roughly around the same time. But am I not mistaken? Remember, I don't know if if you used to watch the transfer deadline day they used to put on Sky Sports, and they used to have the reporters at every stadium and training ground, right? I don't know if it's true or not, right? We're going to fact check this, right? But they changed the time because it used to be midnight over there, right? And obviously midnight gives people enough time to finish work, go to the pub, have a few drinks, head to the training ground or the stadium, and absolute cause chaos for the reporter, right? I'm sure we'll probably be able to find some unbelievable clips. Remember the reporters used to absolutely cop it outside the stadiums? But I'm pretty sure they changed the deadline hour now to like middle of the day. And I don't know if it was a rumour that they'd done it because they're trying to give the reporters a grace. I hope not, because that's just stupid.
The reporter.
But imagine the reporters kicking up a stink protesting. had enough of the dildos in the ear and the balls behind them.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Can you imagine that happening here in Australia? Oh my God, that would be chaos. We're all over the news. They'll talk about it for a month.
At least.
Have a bit of fun, man.
NRL 360 still banging on about State of Origin, which happened about a month ago, so they got nothing else to talk about.
Just waiting for Craig Foster to start talking about us, mate, and then we'll be all happening. Don't worry about it. That's when the protest will start. Don't worry.
to get us off. But we're doing Fabs a bit of a golden here. We're going to give him some updates or pass on the messages that he's been given with some of his here we go. Adam, I know you've had a couple of transfers that's caught your eye so far.
I did. I'm not going to start with probably... Oh, you know what? I'm going to start with the biggest one that everyone obviously knows about.
Good.
It's exciting. Of course, we all knew this was happening. There was an anticipation for a couple of years. This was Kylian Mbappe's move from PSG to Real Madrid.
Well, is that breaking news?
That's breaking news.
Is that breaking?
That's why I said,
here we go.
You know about it.
I love how he goes, you want to start off with it like he was going to build suspense to this big transfer that no one knew about. Thanks,
As I mentioned, we all knew about it for a long time. And now it is out to the world. Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. He obviously went on a free transfer, even though there was talks a while back that he was going to go to ridiculous money. Either there was a poach from the Saudi league that even came in. But, there was always signs and signals saying going back to Real Madrid. And it's actually happened now, which is kind of crazy because their team is starting to look like something ridiculous, that anyone could only dream of, especially if you support them. So it's going to be very exciting to see them next year. Look, he's only 25 years old. Would you put him in as one of the top players in the world?
Yeah.
Probably would. Statistics 100%. That are out there. I love my stats, so I'm going to run through some stats.
Tell us.
There's only recent. Mbappe has scored 331 goals and assisted 158 in his career, 446 appearances for club and country, already winning 17 trophies at the age of 25, which is crazy, and there's potential for obviously more now. I'm just going to put it out there, bold prediction. He's probably going to have a Ballon d'Or added to that trophy cabinet one day. If it just keeps going the way he is. So that's probably the biggest one that's probably coming out at the moment. But yeah, that's my first one. I'm going to put out there to the world that, if you've missed it, you're probably, as a football fan, you're probably crazy because it's been everywhere. But
question for you too.
Tell me.
Obviously, Mbappe is probably one of, if not the best player in the world at the moment. Is his transfer to Real Madrid bigger now or when Ronaldo went in 2008 or 2007, whenever it was?
I think the Ronaldo transfer was bigger, purely because it had a price tag along with it. The Mbappe one, look, you knew it was coming for years. For years and years, you knew it was coming, right? And with all respect to PSG, right, they're not no one looks at them like they're a Real Madrid purely because they believe that they should be walking through the park in the French league, and the only competition they can test themselves against relatively competitive competition is the Champions League, which they haven't yet won. So everyone knew that this was going to happen in a matter of time. It's happened on a free as well. So I think the Ronaldo one, not that it didn't come as a shock to people, but I think United were probably one of the best teams in the world at that stage, if not the best team in the world. And he left that to go to Real Madrid. I think, plus with the big, I think at that stage was a record fee, I'm pretty sure.
And what
that was a bigger impact on transfer.
That's where all major transfers probably started to generate from that move, I think. So that got brokered not shortly after, right? Was it Bale that potentially broke that to Madrid? I think that broke his record anyway.
Bale did hold the record for a while, but I don't know if anyone else broke it in between Ronaldo and Bale.
Maybe. But to answer your question, Steve, I would probably just scope and say Ronaldo, but if you're going to put into terms now with everything as, social media and everything like that, Mbappe's probably broken records in that sense. I would say in probably generating money back, I'm going to say he probably already has. I think I saw something out there that he almost doubled Ronaldo's jersey sales and everything already within the first day. So,
wow.
And I think they both sold out the Bernabeu anyway for the reveal and everything. So,
but I think with obviously with this jersey sales and stuff like that, yes, Real Madrid still have some mega stars in their team, but nothing on the likes of Mbappe, right? When Ronaldo went to Real Madrid, correct me if I'm wrong, but he had the number 9 at the start.
Number 9, yes.
He couldn't even get his number 7 jersey. right? Now, yes, it's a big transfer and whatnot, but he was also going into a team of guns. We mentioned it with our Euro Cup wrap-up as well. Stephen, you mentioned it, that the Spanish national team was pretty much half Barcelona, half Real Madrid, right? So you take that consideration as well, that the caliber of players that Real Madrid did have back then as well were unbelievable. So
I don't know. Well, they made 3 or 4 massive signings at the same time. Like Kaká went the same time as Ronaldo did. He went for 70 mil. Ronaldo went for 80 mil. So, and I think they hadn't won the Champions League for a little while. So that's why they did start splashing some cash, and that's where success came up the back of that. Where Mbappe's gone there now. They've won 10 of the last 14 Champions Leagues. So he's expected to continue that, where Ronaldo kind of started that generation.
Do you think that the pressure also comes off him, though, because there's already so much stardom that's there? Because you're already looking at Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, so you say Modric is still there maybe for another year. It's sort of like if he goes and doesn't have the biggest season in the world, it's okay, potentially. You just have to wait and see how the fans react to that.
I don't think so.
And the fans, especially in Madrid, they hold you to a higher level. They expect a higher level, and especially because this deal has been in the works for, let's be honest, for a long time. They finally got him, and it's kind of like, all right, you didn't hit the ground running because we've been waiting for this for a long time, right? But I'm just trying to think as well, like other moments when Real Madrid players have been mentioned. They talk about Ronaldo, Zidane, Beckham.
Well, I think that
Raul,
when you see,
Hardis,
Muniz.
I was waiting for you to catch on. That's what I'm doing.
Well, you know what it is? I think the way that they portrayed that also in the Beckham documentary when he came across, it seemed like it was this global superstar that was bigger than football itself necessarily, I think, because they were the club that they were before he went. But the way they showed it, he made them internationally humongous. It was crazy. And then from then on, they've just brought in player from player and player. So it's going to be very exciting to see, I think. To wait and see.
I think it's exciting for them.
They can do it.
For sure. Stephen, any major transfer news from 3 years ago that caught your eye?
From 3 years ago? Okay.
Alan's got it for 3 months ago, so I may as well pick up this game.
You know what? Nothing that we didn't expect. I thought it was pretty funny that Moussa Diaby, that played at Villa last year, kind of made a name for himself. Now he's gone over to the Saudi League, kind of collecting some money now. So
he's only like 25 as well or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's young. He hasn't been around for too long.
They bought him for 55 and they sold him for 60. So at least they made a profit on. They got a return on what they spent. But
even as a player, like mid-20s, you're in the Premier League, in Europe. Don't get me wrong, the financial package would be unbelievable. But the difference between £300,000 a week, I'm not saying he's earning that much at Villa, but compared to what he would be earning in Saudi Arabia, what can he not buy that he can now buy in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. Whereas
you look back at your career and think, I played so many years in the Premier League. I played against these players. I played for these clubs, So I just hope it doesn't end up like being was it Jota from Celtic.
Celtic, yeah.
Struggled, went over there and realised he kind of made a mistake, wanted to go back, and he was only mid-20s as well, and he started to really find his feet at Celtic that season too. So you just hope he doesn't end up like that.
And Villa in the Champions League this year. So wouldn't you want to play there?
Yeah.
It's a strange situation. It's almost you need I guess, does a club also forcing you out when you see a massive price they come in like that? Do you want to get rid of him? But he only just showed up. He just started finding his feet there. So, it's a strange transfer. But, we'll have to see what happens with him, I guess. It's an odd one.
Well, Villa have also brought in 22-year-old Amadou Onana from Everton.
Andre's not even my name, mate.
I was just about to say the man who can speak the best. I'm pretty sure it's French he's speaking in that interview. And then he just switches like he's the biggest Evertonian you'd ever hear ever. Andre's not even my name, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's just brilliant. I actually think he's a good player. That's a good pickup for Villa. I mean, obviously it's come at a cost. It's come at 59 million euros, roughly the same price they sold Diaby for.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player, and he's still only young, 22. I think he's a really good player. I'm surprised that, again, no disrespect to Villa, they are in the Champions League. They need to be making signings like this. I'm going to mention a rumor that's going around, obviously, about another player that they're looking at. But there must have been other interests out there from other clubs. Did he go there because he got guaranteed game time? I don't know.
Well, it is an upgrade. He's come from Everton to fighting relegation to Villa, who's in the Champions League. It's a massive signing. A massive signing for him as well.
But it was only 6 months ago. He was linked with Arsenal and pretty much almost nailed on to go sign for him.
Well, I think Steve mentioned fighting relegation, but also having issues with financial fair play. So I think that money's going to actually do them a lot of good. And then also another rumour that's gone out and that's sort of been signalled for a while was Braithwaite, the other centre-back, linked to United for 70 mil, I think it was.
Right.
So
wow.
They're looking at also just maybe a refresh in that back line. But it's big money.
He was a refresh, to be fair.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
young, upcoming.
They're both young.
Yeah.
Both super youngs.
Well, and that's the thing with look. I think it's a good move for Villa. Again, I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's the kind of player that they need alongside, I believe, João Felix that they're looking to bring in as well. That they're heavily linked with. And we mentioned in the podcast back in the last year, and obviously during the year about Villa. Plan 18. They're structurally so sound, fantastic, but there's no plan B. There's no player that you're going to turn to and go, he's going to change the game for us, right? Very, very well organised, structured team, but as soon as a team locks that down, they haven't got that plan B. And I think a player like Onana, and then if they do bring João Felix, I think it's exactly what Villa need to kind of go, these players can actually turn the game on their head and actually and control the game and find that winning goal or find that equaliser when they need to, when that plan A's are working. So I think it's a good bit of business, especially if they get that João Felix transfer done as well. Because I can't see Villa being the type to sign, your big names like your Mbappes and stuff like that. But that's another player, that's another attacking flair player that can create that had previously big price tags on him. João Felix had previous big expectations, and if he can come in and find his feet there, I think that's a really good sign for him.
I also, speaking of Villa, I thought this one was also very strange to me, just for how he was playing and how well he was playing. I thought he really controlled their midfield, and this was like an earlier transfer on Douglas Luiz to Juventus. 50 million was the price tag, but I thought he had a great season. He's put away 20 goals for Villa as a CDM. He was their set piece taker. I thought he had a very good season. I think it included a couple of other players to come over from Juventus as well. So Villa might have got the good end of that, but I was quite surprised that he actually left, to be honest.
I think you're missing the main factor in that transfer, and that's his missus, who also signed for Juventus. So love comes first, I think, with him. Obviously there's a hole that's been missed there, and that's where our mate Onana comes in and slots in. So I don't know. I don't mind like the transfer going out and Onana coming in. 22 years old, like James said. I didn't realise he was that young. I think he's a fantastic player as well.
Yeah, he came in. He was one of the guys, especially when he came into Everton, like they kind of looked to really help at such a young age. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be the game changer for them. So I think that's a big one. A couple of big transfers from Germany, or from Bayern Munich in particular, taking a couple of Premier League players, Olise and João Paulinho. Now, Paulinho obviously was on the cards a season ago. he was kicking and screaming to get his move. He finally got his move. But Palace losing one of their main men.
We all saw it coming, right?
Yeah, unfortunately for
Palhinha, yeah. Or at least say I didn't see him going to Bayern Munich. I didn't see him going to maybe a Chelsea or somewhere like that, but I didn't see him going to Germany. But he's got a German background, doesn't he? Is that right?
It's French.
French background, okay.
French.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was a bit of a strange one. I thought he would have stayed in the Premier League.
Well, it's hard on Palace. You know, they've got a few good players. They've played some good football at the back end of last year, right? Between Eze, Elise, Mateta as well. You know, chip in with some goals too. And then, unfortunately, now that the big clubs come knocking, it's going to be hard to knock down. But yeah, interesting that snapped off straight away from Bayern Munich.
I think they really hope that Eze hangs around, but I think if a big price tag comes their way, I don't think they're going to turn it down, to be honest. Because I think they sort of did quite well on bringing players through on those, you know, low wages and low transfers, especially through their academy. So,
it would be hard for Eze to turn down as well if he gets an offer from a top 6 club. Yeah. And then we've seen Palace over the years. They've really struggled without those two, and I think they could struggle again if Eze leaves as well.
I think for going back to João Palhinha from Fulham, I think they're going to struggle without him. He was, and that's why they fought to keep him. And you saw, like, last season, why they wanted to keep him. Like, defensively, he's an animal. But on the ball, too, going forward, he can create. He chips in, right? I mean, went for, 51 million euros to Bayern Munich. So they spent some money on him, right? And I think Fulham are going to struggle now without him. I think he was a big part of their season.
Yeah, I agree.
The way to say it. We can probably go through a couple more, but I've got another one. I think from Atletico Madrid to AC Milan, Alvaro Morata. I think he was unbelievable in leading Spain. He captained the squad as well to lead them through to the Euro final and obviously winning. He's 31 years old. He went for 13 million. I think it's a really good replacement for Giroud, who's just finished up and I think made his way to America. He's just got a lot of experience. I think for maybe a couple of years, I think he's going to do great there. I think his link-up play is good. He's always a solid finisher too. La Liga, 180 appearances, 71 goals. Serie A, 130 appearances and 35 goals. So I think he brings a lot with him. It sort of just depends on how long he hangs around, if he comes on from the bench potentially. But I think it's a pretty good signing for that price tag too.
Yeah. Well, he knows the league. He's played in there before. And I think he's got a bit of that leadership now as well after leading Spain to the Euro. So I think that's a very handy pickup for them.
Yeah.
Touching on Villa again, I'm sorry, but they're making some moves, mate. They've been pretty much the most active regarding selling and obviously buying, but they've already got their backup for Ollie Watkins. Obviously, Sheffield United going down. Cameron Archer wanted to stay in the Premier League. Another young striker, 22. Let's be honest, is going to be a backup for Ollie Watkins.
Yeah,
16.5 million euros from Sheffield to Aston Villa. Easy, yeah. Only time will tell if he's worth that much, but I think we're discussing it today, Stephen, how crazy the transfer market is today. Brian Hill at Spurs.
Yeah.
15 mil.
That's wild.
And listen.
You love Brian.
Come on.
He didn't score.
Leave him alone.
He's not scored one goal.
He's a big player.
I know he was coming off the bench, but it doesn't matter. How we got 15, Spurs got 15 mil for him. It's just showing where the game's going. You know what I mean?
Money
and it's
means
like,
nothing.
even like, obviously, Højbjerg has been sold off to Marseille. I think we got 12 or 13 mil for him. I think that's probably fair. 15 mil for Brian Hill, who was a fringe player at best, didn't get much of a run. I think it just shows, obviously, the craziness of this, the money that's going around now. Like I used to say, like, you know, even 10, 15 years ago, you're making a 15 mil signing. Like, I remember when Spurs bought Rafa van der Vaart, who was the Dutch captain at the time, was playing at Real Madrid, for 11 mil. And he comes in and obviously kills it in the Premier League, which was Rafael Vendervaart, right? 15 mil for Brian Hill. That's just inflation.
Hey, you watch. He'll be golden boot next year in La Liga, Brian. He's listening, mate.
I hope he does. Good on him. I hope he does.
You know, he's going to rub the shirt in
Spain. It's not his fault that he couldn't make the squad this time round. He's made 4 appearances for the Euro champions. Give the man some respect.
Right.
Still slack, mate.
I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I'm never going to criticize a professional footballer, right? But when you're in the sense that they're all unbelievable talents. However, when you're comparing them to their counterparts and their colleagues, 15 mil.
Yeah, but he's got the best haircut in the game.
You'll be one season there. You'll be worth 30. You watch.
All right, you know what, Adam, you follow
Keep it.
Yeah, him and Bowen going to Madrid. You watch. Yeah, reverse.
Yeah, wait for the Bowen transfer from the Here We Go.
It's like for a while.
Well, should we move over to the transfers that we're making?
Oh, okay.
We're making some transfers. So as the listeners would have obviously heard, we're kicking off our inaugural Coach's Son podcast fantasy league. There's going to be prizes for the winner. Absolutely. Fantastic. So make sure you get your teams in. We'll reshare and keep on resharing the code so you join because we don't want you to miss out on a chance. But we're going to go through each line, goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, striker, and probably pick our best.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably pick our best for each line, and maybe a wild card pick as well that people might not want to have in there, might not have thought of. Should we start from the back? In goals. What have we got for?
This was tough. This was tough, going through it because, I've had this mistake, since we've been playing for years and I've been at the top. You know what I mean? I've been at the top.
Hang on. yeah. Alphabetically at the start of the season, that's why, yeah.
Alex doesn't want to give too much away. That's why he hasn't made his team yet.
Because he's nervous.
I'm not even getting the group yet. That's how excited I am. I'm ready. But you want to choose your funds wisely, but I've gone all out in this one here because clean sheet, unbelievable. Defense last year, unbelievable. As much as I don't like him, David Reyes going in goals for me. 5.5 million in fantasy. He's going in keeper for me. He's my first choice. That's it for me.
Who's your choice?
That's it.
Stephen, who's your choice?
It's a good shout, but I just cannot put any Arsenal players in there. I'm so sorry. I've gone with Nick Pope. I think if there's one area that Newcastle need to improve on, it's their defence this year. They missed Nick Pope for 90% of the season last year. He's back. I think he's worth 5 mil. No European football for Newcastle this year, so he'll be playing pretty much every single game, and he sure will be keeping some clean sheets, and he better be because I'll be picking him.
Yeah, he's had a nice break, so hopefully he comes in strong.
I think Nick Pope's a great keeper, and I mean, spoiler alert, but I've also got him in my team as well. I think the keepers are quite relatively cheap. I don't think last year they were priced more than 5.4. Maybe there was a couple at 6. I don't know, but they're all pretty much priced at 5.5 and at 5. So, I mean, there are some good options. I think the key to obviously look at is their first 5 fixtures. You look at Liverpool, Ipswich away, Brentford at home, United away in their first 3. You shouldn't be conceding too many goals, those 3. However, obviously with the new manager coming in, new styles, you don't know what's going to be around the corner. But I think obviously I'm going to have to pick someone different compared to Big Pope, but my other keeper. But I'm going to have to go Martinez, Villa.
You love Villa today, huh? Not a bad show.
But look, he's a World Cup winner.
True.
He makes saves. He's solid. And you know what?
He's a Copa America winner.
He's a Copa America winner. I think he's absolute value at 5. I mean, I don't think you touched on Raya, but you look at these 4 keepers. You've got Raya, Man City have 2 keepers at 5.5.
Yeah, that's
Explain
ridiculous.
that. They got the 2 keepers, Ortega and Edison, and then you got Allison, right, at 5.5 as well. Every other keeper in the competition, so essentially there's 17 first keepers there, valued at 5 or lower at 4.5, right? And I think Martinez, Leno obviously was an option for me because Fulham concede shots, he's gonna make some saves. However, I think losing Paulinho, like we said before, they're gonna struggle, and I don't think he'd be one to look out for. So I've gone with my mate Martinez.
Wow. I'm glad we
Good
went
mates,
three
huh?
separate. I like that. Three different
All
ones.
different.
I like
Well, I
that.
could have just said Pope as well, but thought of something different. Defenders.
Ooh.
Into the back line. I mean, it's always tough when you're picking defenders because obviously they're going to get points for clean sheets. I've already had rants before about how stupid the point system in this game is, and they need more variety
Tell us
in
again.
the points because everyone ends up with the same team come halfway through the season. This is why it's so important you listen to us right now and pick the right players to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
So, defenders, Adam.
Coming from two people that haven't actually picked their team yet.
Because
You go.
I'm sure you guys are obviously studying. You look at
Oh,
the field,
yes.
you're researching.
100%.
I've got notes here, mate. You have no idea. It's not
That's what we
That's
do.
huge.
I did it last year. As soon as the season finished, already ready to go.
Straight onto it.
No, in my back line that James sort of mentioned, you don't really want to be conceding goals. Ideally, because they had an unbelievable defence last year, you're going to put in Arsenal players. But I'm choosing to somewhat go on a more an offensive part here. And I actually went for Fabian Schär from Newcastle. He scored 4 goals last year. He had an incredible season. Unfortunately, got injured late in the season. He also just came off a great Euros for Switzerland. I think he's a good shout. He's at 5.5 million. And as you had mentioned, Newcastle were a little bit iffy towards the end, but I think if they start strong, hopefully everyone's fit, Pope coming in again, fingers crossed we get some clean sheets, but I'm picking Schär for that one. He's going in for my defence, I think, as a centre-back.
I heard.
Not a bad price tag, to be honest. So
I heard offensive, and I thought, here we go. Trent's coming in.
Hey, he's expensive.
Straight away.
I think he's at 7 mil.
7. I think
Trent?
it was high last year.
Was
It's
he?
gone down because he's rubbish. I've gone with right wing back. And in Ange's system, I think he's going to get plenty of points again. And I think 5.5 is a fantastic price for him. Pedro Porro. Scored goals, got assists last year. Hopefully chipping in again with a couple of clean sheets. I think Spurs, or I'm also hoping Spurs will start the season very strong. So I've gone with Pedro Porro. But I also wanted to point out Leicester, who just got promoted. They do have so much Premier League experience across their whole team, but especially their defence. So I've seen back a couple of years back, Ricardo Pereira was unbelievable at right back, especially in fantasy as well. James Justin as well will be playing left back, both at 4.5. But they've got 3 pretty decent centre backs to choose from as well, who are 4 mil. Vought Face, Vestergaard, and Connor Cody. All at 4.
Do you remember
4
when
mil.
Face scored the 2 own goals?
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing him in.
Poor Blake. How does that
He's
happen?
a big player.
Hey, poor Blake. Hey, but good shout, Steve. I like that. So we do our stats, do our homework.
We do it.
Do homeworks. Now, I've done it for me. I've done it for the first time. You've already mentioned his name.
No.
For the first time ever,
No.
I've done it. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Wow.
TAA at 7 mil. I'm excited to see what he does in Honest Lot. I'm excited to see what he does in Honest Lot because, like I mentioned, you want to, yes, look at teams that relatively keep clean sheets, but the goal scoring, goal creating threat of him as well is a big plus. And I believe he'll be every one worth of that 7 million price tag that he is. He got in the bonus point system last year, he got 19 of them. Top scored last year. Points as well, I'm pretty sure, for defender. So I think it's hard to go past him this year. Liverpool's first 2 games, Ipswich away, I'd be expecting goals, and then Brentford at home, I'd be expecting goals. So I've looked at those first 2 fixtures, and I've thought, if there's going to be a time you bring him in, it'd be at the start. See what he's about, see what he's going to do, and then you make a decision from there. Because once you've got him, you've already got him. It's very difficult to bring in an expensive player, especially a defender, later on in the season. So I thought you'd better to have him and then get rid of him early, so you got those funds there, rather than try and bring him in later on in the season.
We're forgetting one big player.
Trippier.
Se come una paella.
You like the song? Say it.
100%.
Of course. Korea. What a goose. I don't think he'd be picked by many people. He was our coach's son of the tournament. Maybe you can remember. There's our defenders. 3 different ones again. Wow. Midfielders.
This is kind of tough, because I do cop it in the group chat just a fair bit about who I usually pick.
Yeah.
My CDMs.
Okay, for good reason.
All right. When you're at the top, mate, you don't really listen to people below you, right?
Yeah, that 1 week at the top because of alphabetical order.
Yeah, exactly. I framed it. It's on my wall. I have gone with Old Faithful, and probably the most hated player in the Premier League at the moment, Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United. 8.5 million. Consistency. That's what you get him with Bruno Fernandes.
8.5
leads the team out. Yeah, 8.5 million.
Not bad.
Not too expensive for what he produces. Scored 10 goals last year. I think they could be off to a good start. Hopefully, we see how we go. Like I mentioned, it's consistency with him. Could change him around, but every time I brought him in the last couple of seasons, he's done me solid. So I'm sticking with Bruno Fernandes.
And look, only 14.1% of players have selected him.
There you go.
So, I mean, I think it's a good shout. Again, you look at the early fixtures that they've got. Fulham at home, Brighton away.
And he's a set-piece taker too. So I can't go wrong there, Randall.
That's right.
Can't go wrong there.
Stephen, who's your midfield pick?
I know City are going to be resting quite a few players at the beginning of the season because they're coming back late from the Euros or the Copa America. Kevin De Bruyne at 9.5, yeah, that's high, but it's Kevin De Bruyne. For him to be under 10 mil, I think that's a decent shout. But I'm actually going to go, and I need Adam to back me up here. Obviously, Darwin's had some trouble, so I don't know if he's going to be playing at the start of the season. He's going to get banned. I have no idea. Diogo Jota is only 7.5 mil. And if he's playing somewhere in that front 3, I think that's a pretty good shout to have him. And he's also listed as a midfielder in fantasy. I had a couple of others, like Garnacho had him last year, 6.5, pretty good for a United player if he plays. But I think I'm going to pick Diogo Jota.
Yeah, that's a good shout. But the one thing I will say, it's so hard with that front 3 because realistically, the only person that's somewhat guaranteed because they love him so much is Salah. But you've had Gakpo that just had an amazing Euros, almost the top scorer. You had Luis Diaz made it to the final of Copa America, also had a good tournament. Yeah, Darwin had mentioned if some trouble up front, so potentially Jota might be the starting man in that middle there, but there's tendencies to also play Gakpo as the number 9, so it's a bit hard. It's a 7.5 is a good shout for
Gakpo was coming for the left, wasn't he?
That's his original position. So it's weird that sometimes they play him as the false 9. So I don't know what Slot's plan is, but the hard part is now all of those players are still not back in squad yet because they all finish up late. They're still on holidays, so it's hard to see. But it's a good shout, good price tag. That's for sure.
Starting with a similar price tag at 7.5. I'm going to give him a mention. I'm thinking about bringing him in if I can fit him in because I think he's probably worth having a look at. I wanted to mention was Gordon. And Newcastle start off with Southampton at home, Bournemouth away. Again, games, very winnable games for him. And then Tottenham at home. And Tottenham, as we know, open attacking football. They put 4 or 5 plus Spurs, I think, at St. James Park last game. And I think Gordon at 7.5 is a pretty good shout, especially with those first 3 fixtures. However, I'm going to say, obviously, the one that I always stick to. He is worth 10, but when he's playing as a striker, nominated as a midfielder, I can't go past Sonny. I can't go past. I know he's worth. I know it's 10, and I know it's a lot. It's not a Haaland 15. Captain, penalty taker, mind you, we only got 1 penalty last year when we were already up 4-0 in the game. I can't go purely because I think it's a bit of a cheat code where the player is regularly playing as a forward or playing as a striker. He have opportunities for goals. You'd expect every single game, and they're nominated as a midfielder. And obviously, as you know, a midfielder scoring a goal is worth more points than a striker. I think, look, again, Gordon is one I'm looking at, but I think Sonny is my forever kind of one of those ones, again, that getting early, he's worth a lot, but I think he's going to be doing the job every week.
Well, I guess if you don't pick Haaland at 15, whatever it is, you've probably got room to put a 10 and a 9.5 or, 2 relatively high players rather than just one high player and then a couple of average players. We've mentioned a couple of midfielders that are around the 6.5 to 7.58 who you could fit in, as well as Sonny if you're not willing to put Haaland in there as well. And shout out to Massimo Luongo, who's also in the Premier League this year. Big fan of
Get him in there.
I will. Watch me.
All right. Before we go to our wild card player, strikers, out of the 3 selections, who have we got? Who's your one to look at?
I actually think that one of you might have the same one that I do for this one. But I put him in towards the end of my season last year. He did really well for me, and he also had a great season. It's Newcastle United's Alexander Isak, 8.5 million. He finished with 21 goals last year. He's your ideal number 9 that probably every team would love to have. I think he had a great end to the season last year. Newcastle were hit and miss towards the end. I think he just had a very solid season. He wasn't injured too often, like majority of their team were. He came in, obviously, on a hefty price tag for Newcastle when you suspend that type of money. But he's done really well since he's come in. So he's actually a no-brainer for me starting off the season. That's my pick.
Yeah, me too. I'm expecting Newcastle to be a lot better than they were last year. I'm very likely to have 3 Newcastle players in my team, and Isak will be one of them. If he improves on 21 goals, it'll be another incredible season, obviously. What did they finish last year? 8th? Score that many goals? Great effort. And again, like I mentioned, no Champions League football, so you would expect him to play each and every week so they can finish as close to the top of the table as they possibly can. I wanted to quickly mention one other player. Another one, and it's a bit off-field, this one.
Ooh.
If Tony goes, our good friend Tony, he who's playing for Brentford? Brentford have signed a striker. I don't know if you saw him on your lovely transfer list, Adam. Igor Thiago for 33 mil. Scored 18 goals for Club Brugge last year. So if Tony goes, he could be a replacement to start up front for Brentford, and he's 6 mil. So good ship him with a couple of goals.
Good shout. Not bad at all. Also with Isak, he's normally a set piece taker or your penalty taker only if Callum Wilson sort of isn't on the pitch. It's a hard one. He's obviously usually starting over him, but occasionally gets some game time. But yeah, he's definitely my shout.
Very good. Well, I've actually gone with Isak from Newcastle as well. You wouldn't believe it.
Who would have thought?
Look, I think what I mentioned about Gordon's and Gordon and Newcastle start the season, 3 favourable fixtures. But I think for Isak on a personal level too, yes, Newcastle didn't have the best season last year. I think he needs to take it upon himself to show that he can do it again in the Premier League, because even if Newcastle don't hit the strides where they want to be, I think a lot of clubs will be sniffing around for him. So I think on a personal level, he's going to want to absolutely do as well as he can to get back into those teams that are playing in and around the Champions League. So it's the first position that we thought, or first line of position that we thought we'll share the player. Wildcard player. This doesn't mean it's a free transfer around wildcard. This means someone a bit different, maybe in your eyes might be a bit different, or someone maybe just a bit outside the box. Anyone come to mind?
Do you want to go first, Jimmy?
I'm still thinking of one, to be honest.
Sure. I'll go first. He got mentioned before, and that is Liverpool's own Gakpo.
Yeah.
7.5 mil. Euro Cup started and played pretty much the majority of the tournament, every all 6 games. 3 goals and assist in 6 games. Dutch coach. When a new coach comes in, or when your player comes in, they typically gravitate to those things that they know. And they try to find those solid bases and relationships and structures that they can rely on and rest on while they're experiencing a new culture, a new competition and whatnot. And I think he's going to, like Gakpo, will rely on Arne Slot. I think Arne Slot will rely on Gakpo in the same way. And I think it's just that sense of familiarity. And I think that after the Euros he had, played every single game, 3 goals and assists, like I said, I think he'll be a starter for Liverpool. And I think at the price tag of 7.5. And I think if you're having a look at the strikers this year, obviously a lot of people will stay away from your Haalands because of that price tag. You freed up a lot of cash for other players around the park, but I think bringing him in is not a bad option, considering, again, Liverpool started the season that they got to. You're expecting goals. Does anyone disagree that it's a bad?
No, definitely not a bad shout. I think he's a great player and showed that at the Euros. It's just so hard to pick a Liverpool front 3 at the moment. So, but you could be right. Like I said, gravitating to what he knows. Dutch player, Dutch coach. I mean, he's a great player, right? So it's not like he's some dud that he's just going to pick because he's Dutch. Dutch.
The double Dutch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could be a good shout.
Well, that's my wild card, all right?
Oh, yeah. Jeez, all right, mate. I was going to mention this player before, but I forgot as a striker.
Ooh.
And it's Wolves. I don't actually know if he wears number 9, but he was playing up front last year. Mateus Cunha at 6.5 mil. Wolves scored quite a few goals last year. He's got Neto, Hichan, Sarabia behind him. Some top quality up front for 6.5. I think he scored 12 goals last year, a couple of assists. Pretty good return for someone that's playing at Wolves. Could be going into my team, possibly.
Wow.
Decent shout.
They do have a difficult first 3 fixtures, though. Arsenal away, Chelsea at home,
Easy.
Forest away.
Sounds pretty easy to me.
Fair enough.
You just got to put the ball in the back of the net. How hard is it?
Sure. Well, I mean, for me, I actually think the better value pick there would be... I'm not going to... I should get my secrets. No, that's why we're here.
What's the point of having the pot if you're not going to tell us?
That's what I was going to say, mate. If you're looking for a value striker at 6 mil, you go for Nottingham Forest a 1 year. I can't remember tell you which one I pronounce it.
How do you want to pronounce it?
I mean, only 1.3% of people have actually selected him because I haven't listened to this podcast yet. But look at that again. I'm a big fan for these first 3 fixtures. Bournemouth at home, he's scoring a hat trick. Clip it. Southampton away, clip it. Wolves at home. What a start!
Clip it.
Sure.
I'm just going to my whole team and share it so the world can see it. I
You
I
want to share how you went last year too?
Right, we're moving on to Adam's wildcard play, thanks.
Yeah, I know who it is.
I-
It's good. Yeah. So coming up, yeah.
Who's going to be? Oh,
But
this
you know what?
young
It is-
up-and-coming player, Mohamed Salah.
No. I have, he's in Cucurella's team. He's actually gone down in price because of injuries last year, but he's actually down as a midfielder, but potentially could play a 9 role. It's Christopher Nkunku.
Mhm.
He's had a great preseason start, couple of goals already. He's down at 6.5 million. He's not
Yeah.
too expensive. I think he's a really good shout. And the times that he did come on for Chelsea this season, he put away a couple, assisted a couple. I think could be a threat. Since, you know what, I would probably be Palmer. See how much Palmer's gone up to 10.5. He's gone
Yeah,
up
it's a lot.
5.5 million. So I think he's a good shout if he stays fit in Kuku. So, there's been a lot of
Yeah.
drastic changes, you know.
For me, it would be hard to put any Chelsea player in there, but 6.5 is quite attractive. So could be looking into that. Depends how he goes in the preseason in the next couple of weeks. If he's starting, yeah, good shot.
You know what the issue James had sort of mentioned before about how you earn points and that type of stuff? It's hard because then you also don't want to, you want to compete with everyone. And if you realistically don't put Haaland or Salah in your team, you're going to be falling behind. But to spend 15 mil or 12 and a half on one player that, you know, yes, they're both on set penalties, you know, set piece takers. It's hard to chuck them in there when dressed like almost Watkins had the same amount of goals. Isaac had the same amount of goals. It's hard.
But that's the thing. That's what you see, right? Because there's so many positions to fill. But like, well, halfway through the season, people will have their 1 or 2 4 million price players that don't get a run just to cover your Salahs, your Palmers, your Haalands, your Sonnies. And then before you know it, half the competition are pretty much same team. And that's the thing. Halfway through the year, you don't want the same team as the guy ahead of you because you want to catch him.
Yeah.
And that's what they really need to I know they've made some changes to the bonus point system. Big deal, mate.
Yeah.
A goal and a clean sheet is worth more than the 3 points of the bonus point system, right? They need to start encouraging for a different variety of points coming in, so people can actually have different ways. If they want to set up in different ways, they can. They include things like every 5 completed passes or 10 completed passes is a point. For defenders, every five blocks, that's a point. A goal contribution, it means that you were part of the build-up play that led to the goal. You get a point. Things like that where people can actually have a look at and go, these are actually contributing to this team winning and performing. And individuals can have a really good season and play really well. Like I know you mentioned before, Adam, you obviously like throwing in your defensive midfielders. But years ago, you did throw in N'Golo Kante, right? Who was pivotal. Who was a pivotal player. Doesn't get no fantasy points. And this is the problem. If they actually open up the scoring to, like, you know, breaks in play made, tackles made, you know, chances contributed, like I said, things like this, clearances made, whatever it may be, and get actual points, not just points allocated to the bonus point system, actual points from it. You can actually have a bit different variety of team. So if you're trying to catch someone who's ahead of you, or you're trying to stay away from someone that's behind you, you can play in a different way.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's passion.
You done?
Passion.
That is
Passion. And quickly, if no one has seen it, I'm going to put it out there. There's a new chip. It's called the mystery chip. No one knew about it. Not the mystery chip.
No, like Mbappe's transfer, no one knew about it.
Let me tell you a little bit about it.
Tell us.
There's a new chip this season called the mystery chip. What's inside, shall you ask? Be prepared to change your strategy mid-season when all is revealed ahead of January 2025.
January 2025. Wow. Wait that long.
So, you know, don't hold your breath. The mystery chip's coming.
Yeah, that's huge.
Okay. Let's do one bold prediction each. What is this chip going to be? Bold prediction. What is this chip going to be? Have a think. Could be anything.
I reckon you can pick or your vice captain will also get double points.
Oh, yeah. I'm going with
Okay.
that. That's very good. I'm going with that. Surely, because that's been such a big
pick something
thing for
else,
so
you know.
long.
Yeah,
I think anything you want to squad, Stephen.
I was gonna
Relax.
go. I was gonna go mystery trip. You can play for 1 week. If you want to play with 4 strikers, you can play with 4 strikers.
Oh, I think I'm going to go with that 1 week. Your points double. 1 round, your whole team's points double for 1 round.
Okay.
Oh,
Look,
All right.
it's
Imagine
such
the
a
game
big
changer.
build-up. It has to be something bigger than what I said. I
So
hope
we're-
it's something bigger than
well,
what I
vice
said.
captain also gets double points. Whole team gets double points, and I said that there's pretty much positional changes. You can do extra positional changes.
Have to wait and see.
Ooh.
Very excited for
I
it.
can't
You
wait.
can see how passionate we are. It's the best. It's the best.
passionate.
Changes friendships. Makes you enjoy the game, people.
Does it?
Oh,
Does it
yes.
really?
No.
Yeah, you're stressed.
Wait.
I'm up
In
at
the-
2 o'clock in the morning watching Southampton versus Brighton because I want a
That's a big
particular
game.
player to get a goal. Like, it's a big game for me because I
Oh,
watch them
no.
play.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
passion that we got.
We love it.
Bravo.
It was a
Beauty.
fun episode. I love it. Thanks for being very informative, guys, and all your deepest, darkest secrets. Very nice. We
Yeah,
love
no worries. See you next
it.
time.
I'm sure the fans appreciate it.
They will appreciate it.
100%. And as James mentioned, we're going to keep sharing it on the socials. Make sure you get in. Costs nothing to jump in, and there will be prizes at the end of the year. Stay tuned.
Absolutely.
Is that a night out with the coach's son? Is that what the
It could
winners or the
be,
loser?
it could be anything.
That costs
like
money.
like a mystery chip. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It's a mystery
yeah.
chip prize.
Yeah, we might see
Yeah.
you somewhere in the world. You never
We
know.
did that.
Don't come last so you get that.
Anyway, that is another episode of The Coach's Son. I think that's episode 33. Wow, really getting ahead
Wow.
here. Very excited. EPO is coming. That's all our fantasy tips. We ran through transfers a little bit. More to come before the season starts. Very excited. That's
Very
the
excited.
Chupapi.
Chip Uppy.
This was not meant